Hello, everyone. Welcome. It's your boy CEO the One. Going down again, man. It's been a while since I've been on here. Shout out to all the followers and everyone who's been reaching out and seeing what's up with me. And that's all I can say. It's definitely been a battle. Because sometimes I can definitely feel like Jonah who running from the calling. But th- this this title today is really they want to silence the chosen ones. So, we want to understand these things on truly why they really want to silence us. Um, and why they want to keep us silenced because they don't want to be exposed. They don't want the truth on who they really are to come out. Um, most people wear a mask and they like to do things behind the scenes and people like people have jealous hidden agendas, and a lot of people don't love who they are. So they envy and they're intimidated by who you are. Most people have been intimidated just by my confidence, and the fact that they destiny swipe with me. They want people to believe I'm them and they're me. So most of the time they will provoke you to try to make you like them. And that's the thing that really exposes the fact that, you know, people wants to silence you because they don't want to be revealed. They don't want people to actually see them for who they are. But when God gives you that spirit of discernment, it allows you to see people for who they really are. And that's the thing is they can't silence us. We are the type of people, the chosen ones are the type of people to go through the fire, come out untouched, like I said in previous videos, I definitely went through the fire, and you could go back and check some of my videos that I've done as I gave y'all my testimonies of the experience that I had to go through of uh being chosen and coming out of a household of, where the Bible says the enemies will be those of your own household. So, you know, that's what I've been dealing with my whole life, not understanding that um the person who birthed me was always jealous of the anointing that I had. And most people knew that I had the light. And you can't say that you didn't see it because you knew who I was since birth. My mother always used to say I was her child of comfort. And I have been that person of comfort no matter who comes around me, and my thing is I've never had a heart to harm anyone. But I've been through a season where um, I dealt with so much of anger and resentment and, you know, being raised without a father. And my mother raised four boys on her own. So, you know, me being what they would call the scapegoat, you know what I'm saying? I was always the outcast, overlooked. As I left the house at 22, that I had to realize that my mom wasn't there to protect me as she should. You know, not having a father figure, not having that person that I could depend on made me who I am today. I left the house at 22 years old. I had my daughter at 20 years old. So, and she's 26, just graduated from Nassau Community College. And I'm grateful and blessed that, she graduated early. My child has always been an honor roll student since high school, since elementary school, excuse me. And, she finished school early and she took a break, but she decided to go back to school, and I am blessed that she has made that decision. But like I was saying, I had to learn that my mom wasn't the protector. Like she was biased to a lot of things. And I'm 45 now, and I begin to, look back at the things that she had done, things she had said, and once God revealed to me that um, the curse had to be broken within my family, I started to reveal more of that to my mom. I spoke to my mom every day, and the more that I revealed that the spirit was revealing things to me, the more the warfare intensified. I was going through headaches for a very long time, and I had to break free from it when the spirit revealed to me, I need you to break a generation curse. So in my mind, I thought the generational curse that I was breaking was, high blood pressure or diabetes and these things. So I changed my diet. And then as the spirit revealed to me with as I continuously trust the spirit, it revealed to me that I had to break uh, a cult spirit that was in the family. So when I used to tell my mom that the spirit told me these things, it intensified. I experienced some things that allowed me to escape death many times. And it wasn't that I escaped death. It was because God's hand was on my life. And I can see these things and I'm like, man, someone just tried to crash into my car, or I have a area right here on Sufton where I live where things will continuously happen in the same spot. Many cars have gotten destroyed, but it's always has missed my car. Always has missed my car. And when people don't understand the the level of witchcraft that has been put upon me, you have people who really don't understand that witchcraft is real. So when you mention witchcraft, a lot of people will say, um, if you believe in it, then it will happen. But what people fail to realize that um, the enemy is a deceiving person, which he only has power when you lack knowledge. What most people would say is knowing is half the battle, right? So if you know that someone is intentionally trying to provoke you, or intentionally trying to get you to do the things that they want you to do, that is a form of manipulation, and manipulation is a form of witchcraft. So this is the things that people don't understand. Those who talk negative against you, those who think negative against you, they're forming a negative energy, which is a form of witchcraft. And witchcraft can come in many forms, but if people don't, or people are unaware of these forms, then they can be overtaken by these demonic entities. So, by this demonic force. So it can overtake you. You can be under a spell and not even realize that you're under a spell. But once you know what you're dealing with, right? And like people believe that the devil is an unseen spirit, that he's roaming the earth and he's unseen and we can't see him. Let me understand what target you can hit that is unseen. Once you let me understand, you close your eyes and you try to hit a moving target, because that's what the devil is to y'all. If y'all believe that the devil is an unseen spirit that is roaming the earth and you just can't see it. No. Each body form has a light and a dark, which is a high and a low frequency. So there is a dark and there's a light. There's a low and there's a high. Those who operate at a high frequency is given wisdom to understand how to defeat the enemy and his devices. So when you understand these things, you will understand a lot of the world is revolved around witchcraft. And witchcraft is working 90% of the time of the things that are happening in this world. You know, it's just the negative mindset. Those who are operating on a low frequency is bringing in low demonic entities and demonic forces within themselves. Hate, jealousy, and envy, unforgiveness, you know, despising. These emotions are operating on a low frequency, and they does have the strength to manifest in other people and on other people. So if you believe that witches and warlocks doesn't exist, most of the time they're not people who are flying on a broom and all black with the cat. No, they're right in our families, operating even within the church. They hide behind the Bible, they hide behind the pulpit, they hide behind the word of God, they hide behind the Bible. Why they have to silence us is a reason to understand that they do not want to be exposed for who they really are. It's a collapse of the narcissist, and the collapse of the narcissist is understanding that they would say that they are dealing with a personality disorder, but to me, I believe that it's a reprobated mind. Those who are given into dark entities. You know what I'm saying? Overtaken by demonic spirits, and some are demons in the flesh, and they are within our families. They are some of the people who are withholding the generational curses. And with, as it says, Christ didn't come to bring peace on earth, but he came with a sword to divide us against our family. But when Christ comes with that sword, he's coming to give you knowledge and discernment and wisdom on who in your family is the enemy. To understand the spiritual realm is to be able to acknowledge it in the physical realm. What did Christ said? If I tell you spiritual things and you don't understand, how would you understand earthly things? So you don't understand that we are spiritual beings operating in a human experience, and that you got to be able to have that spiritual eye to see things that manifest in the physical. That's the power of discernment. That's the power and the gift that God has given you. And many people doesn't have that gift because God has chosen his remnant in this time to rise up and to speak the truth and to deliver the truth of the gospel. So, they can't silence us chosen ones. We can't be silenced. I've been silenced long enough, but God says this is the time to come out. This is the time to be revealed. We are we have been hidden in plain sight, as it says, be careful because you could be entertaining an angel unaware. And yes, I am one of those angels that you are entertaining unaware, you know, um, an earth angel, So God has chosen me for a time as this to come and to help bring uh, enlightenment and encouragement to those who are also chosen, and to help people understand how to get out of darkness into its marvelous light, because that is an experience. And, I'm grateful and blessed to know that, you know, I have defeated things that my bloodline has never defeated. I have took down some ancient demonic spirits that my bloodline has never defeated. So this is a season where God is going to give me the reward for being continuously strong for that fight. Like, I went through the dark night of the soul. That was one of my hardest seasons of my life. So that was one of the seasons where God had to refine me in that dark place. He had to strengthen me. He had to give me wisdom, knowledge, and understanding on what and who He has called me to be. You know, when I went through that in 2024, it was very, very, very dark season for me. But in that time, God put a peace over me that surpasses all understanding. I felt the peace of God, and I learned to understand that He started to show me things in that spirit and show me the hearts of the people that was around me. So, you know, but this is a season they don't want me to speak out. They want to hold me back. But how do you truly defeat that? Is you first acknowledge what you're dealing with. If people have provoked you intentionally, there is a spirit behind them that is doing it. And what does this Bible say? We're not fighting against flesh and blood, but those principalities in high places. So we're not fighting against the flesh and blood. Most of the time, we're fighting against the spirits. It's not most of the time. All the time, we're fighting against the spirits that's within them. So right now, I'm not fighting against my mother, my brothers, and the family that's been. It's the spirit that dwells within them. But a lot of people don't understand the spirit that's dwelling with them. They like the Bible says, you will perish for the lack of knowledge. So, but how do you defeat them? The power of silence and allowing God to do the fighting for you. You know, He says, revenge is mine, saith the Lord. So I will repay. And you have to trust God. That was another hard thing for me to because I seen the patterns of how people were treated. And I began to put them aside because of the titles that they hold by me. And I would say, you know what? This is loyalty. This is me having to uh, stand by them wrong or right. But my job is I was a truth teller. So I'm going to help you get it right. So if you did something to me or you did something that I didn't like, I wouldn't tell nobody else about it, but I will come to you and say, what you did wasn't right. You have to fix those motions. You have to fix those ways. What you did was not of God. And if you're saying that you believe in a God, that wasn't a godly way to do things. That you didn't move by the spirit, you moved by your flesh. And, sometimes I can get into a situation where I may move on my flesh, but I have to take accountability and says to myself, I look in that mirror and I allow the spirit to convict me because that spirit has no problem convicting you. You do wrong. You can do wrong. A second later, he's sending someone to tell you, or he's directing you right to it on social media. He finds a way to get you to understand what you have done was wrong. So, I didn't want to make this a long video. I haven't been on here in a while, actually 7 months. But I want to give y'all some truth and I want to share with y'all and understand, stay silent. You know, allow God to do the fighting because, sometimes it may look like the war is against you and God is not doing nothing and God is silent, but He's not. Man, my whole community came up against me. And I tell you not, I have watched the hand of God touch some people and make people go through some things and come back and find out that this person is going through that financially. This person is sick. This person is that. This person is this. So listen, we can't do it how God is going to do it. So, but they can't silence us. This is the collapse of the narcissist, you know. But my last video I did was heal from narcissistic abuse. And like I said, I am fresh, refined. I am ready for what God has for me next. So you're going to see a lot of consistent videos of me doing what I have to do to walk in the will of God. And, you know, I appreciate everyone who's tuned into this video to hear me out, to hear my stories, and, help grow and learn at the same time because I do have a lot of wisdom through the experience that I had to face. I've been through a lot, so I can share a lot. So stay tuned for more videos and subscribe because I have a lot coming. Um, I'm gonna be going live on all platforms at once. So God is doing a new thing and he's unleashing me to feel good in this season to do it. I started and I will stop. But this time I'm going to be consistent because when God says now, you have to move on to now. And this is a now season for me. So I have to move on. God says now. So stay tuned. Love you guys. Stay blessed.